This episode of the LPP is brought to you by CMH Heli Skiing, Peak Performance Outerwear, Fat Tire Amber Ale, RMU Skis and Mountain Culture Shops, and the official destination partner of the LPP, Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in beautiful Golden, British Columbia. Enjoy the episode. Mr. Thomas. Cheers. Cheers. Everything's been working out today. I'm glad that you had some things to do.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Changed your flight because you've been spending some time here in BC and you're about to spend more time in BC.
Yeah.
So let's start there. You've never been to Canada before. This is your first trip.
Yeah, it's my first time in Canada, and I couldn't be any more stoked to be here finally. And yeah, I wonder why it took me so long to come here, but now that I'm here, I'm stoked. Couldn't be any more.
Why? Why are you here? What brought you over here? Give us some details. I'm going to pull all this stuff out of you.
So,
although we did just spend like the last 2 hours having a conversation, so maybe we used everything up.
Yeah. So the thing is that this year in Europe we have a really bad winter.
Right.
And there's barely any snow. And then just a couple of weeks ago I was skiing back home. It was super busy. It was not a lot of snow, and it was kind of frustrating almost, because I wanted to get backcountry stuff done, obviously. And then I decided to spontaneously give ABM a visit in Canada. And
did you just call him up and we're like, hey dude, can I come visit you?
Yeah, I mean, he was mentioning it before that he would be cool with me coming to visit him at his place.
Yeah.
And I thought that this year would be a good year for that, and I'm stoked that it finally happened.
Sweet. So you came over from Austria because, like you just said, it's been terrible over there this year.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm not over there right now for the Fieberbrunn FWT comp is I didn't want to spend another 3 straight weeks in Europe, but also because it was awful. Yeah, if there was good snow over there, I 100% would be there right now. Yeah. But pump the brakes. So you're over here, first time in Canada.
Yes.
ABM's been living in Whistler for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Filming for Blank. Like, were you guys doing vocal stuff? Because you guys are same ski partner, right?
Yeah. So we were doing some stuff for vocal, and like you said, he's also filming with Blank, and we'll see how the shots end up being used. And yeah, big thanks to ABM. Shout out ABM for having me here in Whistler. It's been unreal, and yeah.
What are some of the highlights? What's made it so good? Being in Canada, is it what you expected?
Yeah, somewhat what I expected, or a little bit maybe. But so far what's been blowing me away is the sledding. I've never really been sledding in my life before, and now it's the first time, and we've been doubling a bunch. We've been towing for quite some distances. And for me it was so sick to see all the process of sledding, how normal it is, like everyone pulls up to the parking lot at the trailhead with the big trucks, they got the sleds on their back, everything is super normal to them, they whip them back off the car, and yeah, it was so sick to see, and yeah, unreal experience. I couldn't believe how fast we were moving in the mountains.
You get out there quickly, right? Yeah. But you also realize how hard those things are to work.
Yeah. It doesn't really make it easier. It's still so much work to get the job done, to get shots, and then also these machines, they need to work right. Sometimes they can break down.
All the time. Yeah. If you can get away from a sled day without having to replace a part or fix something, it's usually a pretty good day.
Yeah.
That's neat that the way they describe that, because whenever I go over to Europe, when you're going through like Austrian towns or Swiss towns or any kind of like towns in the Alps, like Chamonix or even Verbier, it's like very distinct European mountain culture.
Yeah.
Right, you got that mountainside, and there's a lot like a chalet-looking building there, and a chalet-looking building, and the cobblestone streets, and all of these, like the après scene. Like the culture is so specific, Whereas people over here don't really think of us as like having all this culture, but it is. It's just a different style.
Yeah.
So hearing you explain that, like that's normal to me. We roll up in our flannel jackets and our gum boots, and we like launch our sled off the back of the truck. And you know, I usually have her with me, the dog with me. So when we're driving up the logging roads to go to the parking spot, I usually open the door. I usually the last car, I let everyone go ahead. I open the door and I just go slow and let her run the 4 or 5 kilometers to the parking lot.
Nice.
Dog's cruising around, everybody's getting their things together, and then off you go, and she goes and sleeps, right? But like hearing you say that as like a culture point is really fascinating to me. I like that point of view.
Yeah. It's been crazy, dude. Like this other day we went so far into the backcountry, I would say. And what's been so crazy to me is that we've been crossing glaciers just like that, you know, like back home I'd be like, whoa, this is gonna take me at least 4 hours to get to the other end of that, and here you're just like 5 minutes, you're there, you know. So wow, that was mind blowing.
With the vastness of the terrain here too, it's like some of the distances that you travel, it would almost be like going into like a couple different countries from where you started from, right?
Yeah, full on.
That's really cool. So did you go and were you building jumps? Were you just finding like sweet zones to ski pow, or were you like what was kind of the focus?
So far we haven't built too many jumps.
The snow's been too good.
Yeah, the snow's been too good, so we were skiing a bunch of lines and had some pad downs that we stepped out, and we were trying to ski a bunch of pillows the last couple of days.
Have you skied many pillows before?
Not too many. I'm still a pillow rookie, I would say.
Yep.
But I'm so stoked because it's a learning process, I would say. And yeah, it's insane. I love being able to progress at something, you know, even if it's especially when it's at skiing. Because pillows, for example, it looks so much easier than it is, you know.
Right? They look super fun, but then you get up there and you start getting bucked around like crazy. You're like, oh, geez, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, it was sick. We were looking at some lines that we were scoping out, and from the bottom, you're like, yeah, man, I'm fine skiing there probably, and then you get up to the top, and you're looking at it, you're like, whoa, where the hell am I, you know, like, wow.
So yeah, a little steeper than you maybe expected.
And way bigger.
The pillows are a little bigger than you expected. I'm like, oh, that drop from that pillow to pillow is like 15 feet. Yeah, it's
I have massive respect for all the skiers that are able to ski pillows the way they do, because it's so hard. And I guess that's also why it's so rewarding when a line works eventually.
Right, and it's so fun. It's like an adventure the whole way down. And it's a puzzle too, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to know, I got to hit this one, and I get over to that one, but I need to land here, and hopefully it doesn't break off, or it depends on the snow. Yeah.
It's funny how you always come up with a plan. All right, I'm going to do this there, and then go there and do that. And it never turns out that way, you know. It's always different, and that I really like that, because it's I don't know, similar to life in a way, you know?
Right. You just gotta go with the flow, right? I always like to say, like, you can't really, expectations are meant to be let down, you know what I mean? Like, if you go into anything with expectations, you almost never ever meet them, ever. Right? Like, some of the best days of your life, and guaranteed, most people's lives, anybody listening to this, mine specifically, some of the best memories and some of the best days of your life are things that are just spontaneous. You have no idea what's going to happen, but you just kind of go with the flow, and you're like, whoa, that was amazing, right?
True that.
But when you have like preconceived notions of how something's going to be, it's never the best time of your life, because it never equals up to what it is that you want, because you're always trying to either plan something or trying to meet those expectations.
Right.
True. It's kind of like skiing pillows, I guess.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to get to the bottom. I'm going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Well,
it's kind of like this whole trip has been this way, you know, because it was so spontaneous, and we didn't really know how we would go about it, you know, with all doubling and stuff. I don't have a sled and everything.
You make it work.
We made it work, so far, and we're hoping to have another sick day tomorrow, hopefully. And maybe another day on Saturday, but we'll see when I have to leave.
Well, it's nice and blue right now, and it's still cold up top. It isn't supposed to warm up for a bit, and the mountains are skiing real good right now.
It's sick, dude. And we had 2 days in the Alpine the other day, which is really rare here, it seems like. to get like good conditions up there with visibility and everything. And
This is the time of year where it starts to switch on. So like pillow season is pretty much kind of just getting to the end. Actually, Alex Armstrong, who you're going to be going on a trip with soon, Army, you call her Army.
nice.
She just posted that the pillows are almost over, because once they start getting a little warm and heavy, they start breaking off and it gets a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, it was crazy yesterday. Like in the morning, we had pretty good conditions, and then a little afternoon it turned to some pretty wet snow, and
Started getting a little heavy. So yeah,
Exactly.
the pillow season's just about finished, and you're just about getting into alpine spring big line film skiing. Right? April. It's usually warm down low, but nice and cold up top. You still get lots of snow. You get better sun, and that's where everybody gets on those sleds. And they bring an extra can of gas because they go even farther than you've probably been.
Yeah, we brought a couple
cherries. You were doing
trip.
gas dumps. Yeah, nice. And that's when you get a lot of those films, and you see those big lines. That's straight out of Pemberton, up the Pemberton ice cap. Yeah,
The dream.
I know. You were just switching your flight because you're going on another epic trip in a couple days.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy actually, because I was gonna go on a trip to Island Lake.
Island Lake Lodge, yeah.
Island Lake Lodge
Near
with
Fernie?
TGR, with skiing with Coulter, Hinchcliffe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that trip got cancelled because I don't know, the lodge would only offer too small of a window or something, so it couldn't happen. And then the other day, oh no, it wasn't the other day, it was yesterday, after getting out of the backcountry, pull up my phone to check some emails, and all of a sudden I get another mail from TGR asking if I would be down to go on a heli trip to Blue River, my quickly heli skiing. And I was like, sure,
Yes, please.
I didn't know what to say, man. And still, to me, it's crazy that I'm saying that, that I'm gonna go on a heli trip this weekend. What, dude?
Have
No
you
way,
ever
dude.
been heli skiing before?
I've had one heli drop before
Right.
in Auster Valley, and it was pretty windy and quite the crazy experience back then. But it was still good, like a good experience. But probably nothing compared to
What you're gonna get, and you're gonna be
what I'm about to
experiencing
get,
lodge
yeah.
life too.
Yeah, dude,
That's some of the
it's-
best parts of heli skiing is to spend the time in those luxury lodges, and you've got snacks and the best food, and they've usually got good saunas, and you're gonna be living luxury. So you're going on a TGR trip with Alex Armstrong and Nick McNutt.
Yes.
Awesome. And do you know either of them very well?
No,
at all?
I've never met either of them, and so we'll see.
Oh, you guys are gonna get
It
along
goes.
really well. They're both just fantastic human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good people. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so exciting for you, man. Like I was skiing around. So we just did the Freeride World Tour Challenger event this weekend. I'm not in Fieberbrunn for the FWT, so I'm here in Whistler. They did one of the Challenger events. So a lot of the riders from the FWT and a lot of the riders from the Challenger came up, and we had a POW day a couple days ago, and I got to show a lot of those riders around Whistler, like on a POW day. On your resort, wherever you live, there's like a game or there's a route. Whenever it snows, I need to be here when this opens. That's the first place we go, and then the next zone opens, and you go to that zone, and you know how to get it, so you can ski POW all day. So I was able to like show my friends around. All right, we're gonna ski POW all day. We're in Whistler. It's one of the busiest places in North America. Blah 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 blah. We ski POW all day, fresh lines all day, just because you got to know where you are.
Yeah.
So I always get super fired up when people come to my home, whether it's Whistler or it's just the area, and like they talk about it and they just experience what I try not to take for granted because it's so awesome. So seeing you getting fired up is making me super happy.
Yeah. It's unreal to be here. Such a sick experience, man.
Right?
So stoked.
And I know you just changed your flight so you could go on this trip and get back, but I have a feeling you may have to do it again.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna fly out on this day. I'm like, well, maybe you should stick around into April.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I'm already thinking of maybe getting
getting
epic pass for next year, maybe.
Oh, that makes sense.
To just be able to ski the resort a bunch, because I feel like I have to come back here at some point for sure. Like all the sledding and stuff, and
you have like a freestyle background, right? That's your jam. Whistler Blackcomb has one of the best parks in the world, right?
Yeah.
So we were saying that too. Is like when the backcountry's not on or the alpine's not on, well, you can still have a great time because you have the ability to go and like utilize that park. Like for someone like me, it doesn't appeal to me because I'm gonna hurt myself and I'm not a park skier. Just straight up facts, right? I'm not skiing the park, but you have this ability. You have the ability to be able to do both at a super high level, so you can actually really benefit from the down days too.
Yeah, I'm super glad on that fact that I can ski a park and also ski the backcountry, because you never know what a day is gonna bring, and I just think it has a lot to do with the place that I grew up at. Kitschsteinhorn.
Kitschsteinhorn? Yeah.
In Kaprun. It's my home resort.
What part of Austria is that? Like, what's it near?
It's in like the country of Salzburg, but that part of Salzburg is very close to the Tyrolean border already.
Okay, and those are like provinces or states within Austria?
Yeah, there's like 9 different.
Yeah, so like
states.
Tyrol and Salzburg are kind of like more eastern Austria.
Western. Yeah.
Western?
Yeah.
Are they Western?
Western Austria is where the skiing is at.
I thought it was farther east.
No. There's a bunch of skiing eastern as well, but all the good
where's
stuff,
like Fieberbrunn and Leogang?
Quite western still.
They're still west.
Yeah, that's still west.
That's the one thing I realized about Austria. In my brain, I'm like, oh, Europe, everything's 5 hours away.
It pretty much is.
It's a long country. Like Austria is like long, like wide.
It's very wide.
Yeah, so you consider Anyways, Western Austria down in the Alps there.
Yeah,
and so Kitschsteinhorn.
Kitschsteinhorn.
Okay, yeah, and that's home for you.
Yeah, and it just offers so much free riding and a sick terrain park at the same time, and the mountain is open for so many months in the year, and yeah, it played a big role in how I got to progress my skiing and everything.
And like your family's from there. You were born and raised in that zone.
Yes.
How do you rate Kitschsteinhorn versus other places in Austria?
I think Kitschsteinhorn is one of the top resorts in Austria. Hands down. Yeah, for sure. Like, gotta be top 3.
And is that just like, from your point of view, is it like skiing? Is it like skiing? Is it terrain? Is it like infrastructure for like tourism and stuff?
For me personally, it's the best resort in Austria, but maybe that's also because I know it so well. You know exactly where to go on what day and where it can be good and where it's going to be busy and where not. So for me, that one is the best because it offers so many different kinds of skiing, and that's why I'm really stoked on it.
Is it one of those resorts that are like connected to other resorts?
Not really.
No, it's kind of independent on its own.
It's independent, but you can get a pass. It's called the Salzburg Pass, and you can get a pass for around, I don't know, 900 euros for like close to 90 ski resorts.
90. So it's like the European version of the Epic Pass?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like in Austria, they do the Salzburg Pass and then they do the Tyrol Pass.
Right.
And yeah, both of them are really sick passes with great resorts, and the price is not too bad. So I couldn't be any more stoked to live there, and especially the fact that I got to grow up there, I think is huge, especially for skiing, because
would you consider it like a small town or like
very small, like 2,000 people live there.
And do you guys call it like a resort town? Like here in Whistler, we're like, this is a resort town. That's what we call it, where there's like, the nightclubs and there's the bars and the restaurants, but there's also like a proper town. People live here.
So the village where I live would not be a proper resort, and I mean we got a ski lift and all that, but very small. But then Kaprun, which is a proper resort town, is like 5 or 10 minutes away. That's where Kitschsteinhorn is.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard of Kaprun.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a better idea of where it is now.
Yeah, and also Zellamsee, maybe you've heard, is right next to it.
Oh, I stayed near there, I think.
Oh, what? Nice.
Yeah, the first time I was in Austria, I'm going to have to dig up the passes and show you. I'm like, is this the place that's near? But Zellamsee is...
Zellamsee, yeah.
There's a train station there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
true, right next to the lake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I've gone through. Yeah, okay, now I have a good idea of where it is. Well, that's sweet. So, were your parents? Were you like many generations of your family that grew up in that town, or did your parents move
Yeah,
there?
they've always been there in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad is from the same town that I'm still living at,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom is like from I don't know, 2 villages further.
Two villages over.
Yeah, so always been there and got to grow up. Got to grow up there, and yeah, I would say that I'm super lucky that I got to grow up where I did get to grow up, because I don't know, it's in the middle of the mountains. There's so many resorts, and it's just, skiing is so natural, you know. So I gotta be really grateful for that. You know, that's
Right.
unreal.
And then
to
obviously living in a place like that, your parents are skiers.
Yeah.
You're telling me you were on
Yeah.
skis before you could remember. You were racing skiing when you're like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, no, I was already racing before that, so I don't even remember the day when I started racing. Like I got put on the Austrian ski race program.
Mhm. Isn't that like Austrian kids going into ski racing? Is that kind of like
Yeah.
Canadian kids got to play hockey,
Hockey,
and,
yeah,
and know how to
yeah,
ice skate?
Yeah, full on, man, full on. And yeah, I did racing for quite a while and I didn't do too bad actually. But at some point I was over the fact of someone telling you how, when, where, and who to ski with, you know. So
Yeah,
I was done with it, and
I hear that story a lot.
Switched.
You're like, well, I just want to go over there and go off some jumps,
yeah,
or I want to hit something. Right? It sounds
Right.
funny, right? Well, fast forward a little bit. You ended up spending a little bit of time on the slope and big air circuit.
yeah,
Just a few years.
yeah, quite a bunch of years. I was doing big air and slopestyle and all sorts of events, and still doing some events
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Depends on
The smaller ones where you think you can win and make some money.
no, not necessarily. No, I always like to go to events where I cannot win any money, but just to be there, you know, and hang out with all the boys and the scene and everything. So, yeah, I love going to events.
And just have a good time.
Yeah.
All right. So I usually show people. I don't write questions down, but I do write some notes. When did you get connected with the Legs of Steel crew?
That must have been in 2015.
Yeah.
maybe?
And how did that happen? Because they're one of my favorite film crews. Because you guys have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
You're all good riders.
Thanks.
And we'll get to the most recent, recent project in a minute. But how did that all come about? Did you just know those guys, like Patty and the crew, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I've known them for years, all the crew, because all of them have been skiers for many, many years before, 6 skiers. And
A lot of like German speakers, like a lot of from Austria, Germany. Like Marcus is from like the German part of Italy, right? And then
Yeah.
you got an Englishman.
yeah. No, but that's fine. That's fine. The Englishman is our captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how I've met them, yeah, I don't know, like through skiing, like at events. Paddy, I've met because I've known him before, you know, not personally, but I've met him in 2015 at Nine Nights probably.
Right.
Because I remember that because I broke my ankle there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and he was there helping me a bit, and yeah, at some point they have decided to start filming with me or try to go film with me, and I was down with that for sure.
Yeah, good
That's
crew,
how it all started.
good vibes. You know, people that
Yeah.
you work well with, people that you like hanging around with. That's kind of the whole. I think that's kind of the main, categorizing feature for all of these big crews. It's just which might be different from other film projects or whatever. It's just people just like
Yeah.
skiing with each other and they're like, oh, we're gonna create something, which is what I think is really unique with skiing a lot. Is, you know, obviously TGR, you're about to go with a couple of people that you've just met, but they're great humans. But a lot of the really good independent film companies, they're just a bunch of friends that just like hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
And they figured out how to make a little money on it, or like
Yeah.
enable them to get some free stuff.
It's true.
So you guys have a good sense of humor. And I wanted to talk to you about your event that you had last year, the Ritsch's Roll.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, last year when it came out, you're laughing already. It's kind of a joke. The whole thing was kind of a bit of a joke. But I didn't realize it fully until I started digging in a little bit deeper. Like, I remember like a trailer that you put out with a drone cutting a dude's head off or something like that. So I got to know, start from the start, what was this whole thing all about? So you have this really, really long kind of booter.
Yeah, it's a pretty long story.
Let's go. We got time, man. This is a podcast. This is a long format.
All right. So there is this picture perfect spot at my home resort, or close to my home resort.
Right.
And I've skied past it plenty of times already before, and I always thought that it would be so sick to maybe get some jump going there, but I always knew it would be a lot of work. And then 2 years ago, 2 years ago, we were building it for the first time when we were shooting for the Legs of Steel's long days.
Right.
And it worked out great, and we immediately knew that we were gonna have to build this jump a couple more times at least. And then last year came around, and we were not able to get too many shots before it happened, like during the year, because it wasn't that great of a year. I mean, it wasn't too bad, and we got some shots, but it wasn't huge, So Patty came up with the idea of doing a live stream at the roll, and at first I wasn't...
Is that what you call it, just the roll?
We call it Ritsch's roll.
Ritsch's roll?
Yeah.
Is that a play on, like, Rick rolling?
Maybe.
Okay.
And, yeah, so... we had the plan to do the live stream and everything, and to be honest, I wasn't sure about the whole thing.
Well, because you guys said
in the beginning,
you set it up as like a legit, like backcountry comp, but it was really kind of just like a trolling joke on everybody. So, like, how did that? Like, explain a little bit more about that. Like, I want to hear about this. I know it's a long story.
So the session happened in spring already. Mm-hmm. And then we were preparing in summer to be, to in fall be like, yo, we're doing a backcountry invitational comp there. Everyone tune into our live stream and stuff.
But you've already recorded it.
It was pre-recorded, yeah. And yeah, it was a crazy experience because I've had lots of messages of friends and also other people that were down to help us out with the event and everything. Yo, can we come shovel, can we come film? And we were like, I'm sorry, guys.
I'm so-and-so from this news outlet. We want to come and cover your event, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, nah, dude, we all good. It's all done, and it was kind of crazy. At some point, I got messages from random people being like, yo, is T-Hall gonna be on the mountain tomorrow already or only on Saturday and stuff? Because he really wants to meet him. And I had to bring some people in and tell them, look, we are doing a pre-recorded live stream and they're not gonna be there and everything.
There's nobody here. Like, don't travel.
Yeah, because some other people were also like, yo, Tom, where is this jump, dude? I've been looking for days and I cannot find it. And I'm like, dude, I brought them into the secret and told him, look, we are having a pre-recorded live stream. Please don't go into the backcountry because it was such little snow. There was no way we could have pulled it up in the fall.
Yeah.
So.
And these are skiers that want to go like hit the jump as well, and you're like, hey, just keep it on the down low.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe more tourists, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would just be stoked to meet the riders. Which is fair enough,
But there's nobody there.
But no one was there.
Now, speaking of Tanner Hall, I was told to ask you about the story of getting him there. Mm-hmm. Was there a bit of an ordeal, or was it a bit of a mission to get Tanner there?
No, it wasn't too big of a mission actually, because he was super keen on coming.
He's the most keen out of everybody still.
Yeah.
If there's something cool, he's like, I want to be there. I want to do it.
Yeah. Which is fascinating and inspiring at the same time. I mean, dude's 39 years old and he's still learning new tricks every year. That's wow. That's Wow.
So you had a big crew. You did have a big crew there for the live stream.
Yeah.
ABM was there. You had Marcus there. You had Tanner there. Yourself. Patty was there.
Yes.
Do you remember? I don't remember all of the names.
Yeah, Ferdy was there. Ferdinand Dahl.
Right.
And then we had Remco Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
And who? Victor Moosman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Patty, myself, Theo, Ferdy, Remco, ABM, and then Patrick Schuchter.
Yeah.
We invited. He's a local from back home, and he's a sick shredder. And yeah, we invited him out to the event, and it was great to have him. It was a good.
So when you're setting this up, and you have ideas like, we're not going to put this out till next year, and you start like while you're doing it, are you coming up with silly ideas and brainstorming to put it all together?
Yeah, we had some funny ideas that we wanted to put into the live stream. You know, we wanted to make the live stream kind of like how these live streams are these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how there is sometimes
graphics up on the screen.
Yeah,
and stuff.
and then
The AI judging. You gotta tell me about the AI. The AI judging. Explain that. I thought that was hilarious.
So the AI judging is we came up with Lex of Steel came up with the idea of having AI judge the writing at Ritsch's role. You know, we called it the BS judging system, the biomechanical scoring and judging and evaluation system for free skiing. And we would act like we would put I don't know, some sensors on our skins and on our gear and all that, and that would measure our movements and all that, and that AI would also have watched all ski movies out there, you know, in the past, so it would have style dialed, you know, like it would know all about style, it would know about what is a good trick, what is a good storm and whatnot. And yeah, we were just rolling with that idea, and we got some crazy responses. Like,
that's a brilliant idea. Like, that's a great idea. Like, with all this chat GPT stuff that's coming out right now, like that's kind of the next you could say, maybe we've already said too much. After this is maybe set up a program and be like, I want you to analyze every ski film ever. And then I think that's
what the system did. The biomechanical judging system has analyzed every single trick that's ever been done out there on video. You know?
Right. So that's a great idea. I think you actually got to do it for real.
Yeah, man.
Right.
We had a lot of tech dudes approach us
to do it properly.
So how does this technology really work? You know, they were
really
interested.
Really? Like, people are actually seriously falling for all this stuff?
Yeah, man. Like, some other dude sent us a message. He's like, you guys are ruining the sport with your judging system. How will it be able to tell what style is and stuff? And we were like, oh shit.
Oh, no way.
It's falling for it.
So it's working. Oh, it's absolutely working. And then you had like the announcers thing, like I said, with the drone taking the dude's head off.
Yeah.
And I was reading some like review or somebody talking about it. He was like, I was sitting there with my girlfriend and I was like, what is happening? What's going on? That's super amazing. Like, that's so funny. And Rich's role, it has to be like, that's the best name for it. Rich's role.
Yeah, thank you.
To have like a cool event like that with a sick jump with all your friends actually doing sick tricks, like legit comp tricks, but making it way more fun than it probably already is. That's so awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really glad that it worked out like that, because it was so much work. Like, I was stressed out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, event planning's not hard. I heard you had a lot of help. Like, I heard was it your mom and your sister were helping catering?
No, my mom and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my mom and my girlfriend Laura, they would be cooking up for us and also help with the transport and everything. And yeah, lots of my friends also help with that. So big shout out to all of them, because without them it would have never worked. There was so many things that.
And was it like on like so in Canada, like all those zones that you're snowmobiling and stuff, it's called Crown Land. It's part of it's owned by the country. Like, you can go there. There's really no restrictions.
Yeah.
In Austria and a lot of European spots, there's really no spot like that. Everybody owns something that's next to something that someone else owns, right?
Yeah.
So was it like on, like, how did you find this land? Was it part of the mountain? Was it on somebody's farm? Is it like...
So I would say it's part of the mountain, you know, because it's just up there. But we found out that some dude owned the land.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure if I should disclose all of that, but fuck it.
He's not listening.
He's probably not listening now, for sure. So yeah, some dude owns this, and so I had to call up his assistant. And turned out the assistant is living, I don't know, 300 kilometers away from my place. But I still have to call him up and be like, yo, can I ski my home mountain and have some friends film me while I do so? And yeah, he was just asking if we have a film crew and all that, and helicopters and drones. And I sort of told him the truth. And
Sort of.
it was all good. So we put the event off.
Did you have to like pay for access or for use or anything?
Yeah,
like
but
that?
not for that wasn't for the landlord. That was for the chairman of the road. The road has a chairman.
The chairman of the road?
So the road has a chairman.
So like a dude owns the road? Like so you have to you have to pay like a toll?
It's like who gets to decide, you know, like who gets to, you know, go in there and who not, and what's necessary and what's not necessary and all that.
Just to limit like traffic and overuse of like certain routes or what?
No, the problem was that after the winter, when the road defreezes, it can get wet.
Oh, muddy.
And muddy, yeah. And if you go there and if you drive on that road too many times, it will be bad for the road, and they will have to fix the damage and all that. But we agreed on something, and it all worked out. But it wasn't only like the chairman of the road. I also had to talk to a bunch of forestry officers, hunters, supervising hunters,
farmers.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's like people don't realize how much work actually goes into putting on an event, big or small, like that.
Yeah, no matter how small. I have huge respect for anyone that does any sort of event out there, or who does anything, you know, because it's so much work and all the responsibility you have to take and the people you have to talk to make things happen. It's not always easy. So
yeah, it's not like you guys are just going out hopping on sleds and then ripping around in the backcountry, which does happen.
Yeah.
But for other things like events like that, like even talking to Cody Townsend for his 50 project, the amount of work that he has to go into like getting permits and like enabling access and like allowing for a drone to go up into a park, like just simple things that you would think would be easy. Yeah. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of people to talk to and a lot of pockets to fill and palms to grease, you know. True. So would you do it again?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I was even looking into doing it this year. But there's no situation in Europe. It just doesn't allow it at the moment. I don't know. Maybe we get a crazy dump in April or whatever, but we'll have to check. Like I was hoping to build some jumps in April in Europe. Are you going to go to the nines this year? It's not sure yet. Probably not.
It's back.
Yeah.
It's Swatch nines this year.
Yeah.
It's funny. Audi and Swatch, they seem to swap every like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. So it used to be the Swatch FWT, Freeride World Tour. True. Right? And it used to be Audi 9s.
Swatch Skiers Cup.
Right. And the Swatch Skiers Cup as well. I was talking to Nick Hale Woods who ran it. I'm like, dude, bring it back. He's like, oh yeah, maybe we'll see. I'm like, no, bring it back. Yeah, dude. Like, please, like bring it back. Please bring it back. But then it was Audi's not with the 9s anymore as of last year. Now it's Swatch. Yep. And Audi's left the Freeride World Tour, so maybe they can bring Swatch back. Maybe they just Swatch, just swap it out. So maybe that. I don't know. I wanted to ask you because I had this conversation with someone recently. Is with FIS coming in and taking over half pipe and slope style, and with the level of riding now. With like 2160s or whatever it is, like spin to win, like they're getting to a point where it's I think beyond attainable or approachable for many people. Right, the best of the best. They train. That's what they do. Yeah. Right, and I think now people are starting to really I think it kind of was always there, but I think kind of more of attention is being brought onto these like smaller events, these more unique, really fun events, like the Kimbo sessions that he had for a few years. Your event to a lesser extent, which was secret and weird but hilarious at the same time. Daniel Hanke had his event out in the Czech Republic. Slush is doing a lot more things too. So I find that Nines, these more independent events, I find kind of started to go away a little bit when FIS came in and elevated the sport into the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I think it's gotten to a point now where people are starting to revert back to those smaller, more fun events that have less consequence, less pressure, just more fun to hang out with your buds. So like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I mean, also that the events are way more tied to the scene. I always feel like
Tied to the scene,
if riders are holding them, and not some huge conglomerate, where I don't know, where you have to have a certain insurance, a certain code, and all of that stuff just to enter, And I just feel like that's a shame, I don't know. It puts even more of a country club vibe on skiing.
Country club vibe, yeah.
Yeah, where you have to, I don't know, you have to pay just to do your thing, yeah. But that's just how it is, I guess, and that's just how the world is. But still, it's a shame, and I think that it's important for us riders to come up with some, I don't know, with something different, that is off this straight FIS road, that you have to go. You either do that or you're never gonna make it,
And I think a lot of it went that route too, is because sponsorship dollars.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So now that people are realizing that, this is where the interest is. Like you look over to new schoolers or something, there's probably a lot more interest on these types of events now because of that like grassroots vibe, that real kind of authentic kind of jib jam kind of style of stuff, where it's like you said, more to the core of skiing, to what it actually is.
Yeah.
That I think those advertisers may start working their way back to those smaller events because they're more entertaining, I think.
Yeah. I mean, to me they are, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the mainstream, but I don't know. Maybe they will find some interest in that stuff.
But there'll always be the mainstream stuff, right? You'll get your national, broadcast stuff like CBC here in Canada is the national broadcaster. Like they'll show every once in a while. You'll see a skier cross event or a moguls event or maybe even a slopestyle or half pipe event. But that's when like countries get involved and you get like the potential funding or grants that you can get because this is that nationally recognized FIS sport or whatever it is. But there's not a lot of soul to it anymore, which a lot of people saw coming from a long ways out. Like Tanner specifically was very, very vocal about it back in his day. And when it happened, and a lot of people are too. Like, some of the crew that we know, when FIS purchased Freeride World Tour, they're like, oh no, like you read in the comments, I don't have to tell you what they are for you to get an idea of people being unhappy with it because they don't like the change that it brings.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. They're like, what do you think about this? And blah, blah, blah. And they're selling out. I'm like, I have absolutely no say about any of this stuff, man. Like, I like the tour. I'm a big fan. I work with them to do the podcast. I get an opportunity to travel around, right? Which is good for me because I'm not good enough skier to be able to put myself in those positions. So I found a lane, right? So, but it's not up to me. What am I going to do? Well, I can go, this is stupid. It's not going to change a damn thing. So I might as well just adapt and keep enjoying it as it goes. Play the game, man. Right? Play the game. Right? But for those people that don't want to play the game, well, they're creating their own thing, which is really, really exciting to watch, whether they're trolling you or not. So I highly suggest, it's on YouTube now, Ritsch's Roll.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it,
review.
For those of you that maybe just thought it was just another event, and remember seeing it but didn't watch it, go and watch it on YouTube because it's definitely like worthwhile. I think that whole crew always has a really good sense of humor. Like with the claymation video that they did the year before.
Oh yeah, Action Man. Yeah, that was funny.
There's always something fun. It's always entertaining that brings the skiing in alongside of it.
Thank you.
I'm
really stoked on the event, and I just want to say a huge thank you to all my sponsors and everyone who helped me doing this event. It was, I don't know, it was insane, and I'm so thankful for that. So,
who are your sponsors? Good time. Good segue. Tell us who you ride for.
I ride for Volko, the kind, Marca Products, Dalbello Ski Boots, and Kitschsteinhorn Ski Resort.
All right, so bindings, the question. Like you were telling me that you ski like touring setup most of the time. But you just mounted your new sticks because you're going heli skiing interior BC. You're like, I need a downhill setup.
Yeah.
But what are you on? I'm always trying to pick people's brains, specifically with their like touring setup, because a lot of people can't afford a huge quiver, a big downhill ski, and an all mountain charger, but then also a touring ski. So you kind of have to have like, for a lot of people, including myself, I like to have like a big mountain ski, like 116 to 120 or something underfoot. But then my ski that's kind of hovering like 106 to 110 underfoot, I like to have like a pin binding on it, just so you can ski the resort and be like, all right, in the afternoon, the pow's gone, let's go for a walk or something like that. So what is it that you're actually using?
So my touring setup is a Revolt 121 in 191 with a kingpin.
The 121 is your ski, is your touring ski?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, I also have some BMTs and all of that for like longer tourings, but I love riding the 121 so much that, I don't know, like, I don't like switching.
I get you. No, I get you. Because you want to ski on a ski that's good. So if I'm skinning up to go ski a POW line, I don't want to be on flimsy little skis.
Yeah, no.
Right? I want to be on my big skis.
No.
Right?
Yeah. I need big skis, even for touring, and even if people give you weird looks in Europe, for sure,
Oh, in Europe for sure. I was on. I actually posted a reel or a story. I was in. We were in Spain, and I had my like Wiley 118s, Army Wiley, big skis, and they're on this rack, and I looked at the rack, and I did a double take, and it was like short little racing carbon skis, and then boom, this big pair of skis.
But even the touring skis in Europe, they're small, like 85 underfoot would be considered like a POW touring ski.
What?
Yeah, man.
Little
Europe is way
skis?
different. They're all about the uphill.
Europeans are so weird, dude.
Right.
It's only because like they have spectacular mountains, right? Like free riding in Europe isn't anywhere near as big as I think it should be.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
It's like people, but like we said before, with the born in Canada, you got skates on your feet. When you born in Austria, you're getting race skis.
Yeah.
Right. Because ski racers, that's like is it your national sport? Is that actually what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, hands down.
Right? And there's
gotta be. There's nothing as big as ski racing.
Yeah, like rock stars. So it's different. So all these kids grow up, like some kids grow up and they want to be soccer players. Some kids want to grow up and be hockey players.
Yes.
Kids in Austria want to grow up and be like ski racers, which is cool, but I think more needs to be like you and be like, oh, these mountains are so sick. Let's go shred.
Yeah.
Big, awesome lines. It's that different culture here, because that's the culture here.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about ski racing over here.
Yeah.
It's so small. They're like, oh, this person is like the greatest, other than like Michaela Schifrin or Lindsey Vonn because they're Americans, right? But if you bring up a name of, say, like some random...
Tony Saylor,
yeah. Like, say, like the third best ski racer in Austria is probably a huge star in your country, but over here, no one would have any idea who that person is.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's that wild difference to me.
Yeah.
It's still hard for me to wrap around, just because I've done a little bit of racing. It's cool. But I also have done a lot of free skiing, and that's way more cool.
Yeah, right.
In my opinion.
It is, man.
But yeah, Tony Saylor. That's funny. He was an old Austrian, I guess, racer / opened like a ski school here in Whistler. That's why I know about Tony Saylor. I love that you brought that up. No one's ever said that to me before. All right, so you already know who I spoke to. I was hoping to ask you some funky questions that you'd be like, how do you know these things? But you saw my phone that I was talking to Patty. Shout out Patty Graham.
Yeah.
So I asked him, like, give me some funny stories to ask him about. And he told me to ask you about the Peeping Tom in Japan.
Oh, yeah. So...
Can you imagine if I asked you that? You'd be like, how do you know this?
Yeah. No, I would have probably figured.
So I need to hear the story.
So the Peeping Tom Story. We were in Japan the other year. It was 2019, and we went to this cat skiing operation in Shimamaki.
In Hokkaido?
Yeah.
Was it the Black Diamond?
No. Yeah, maybe.
With Clayton?
Yeah, I think so.
Black Diamond Lodge.
Shimamaki.
Yeah, up there, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Hokkaido backcountry snowcats or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you stayed in the Black Diamond Lodge?
We didn't do the lodge. We did some random spot down in the village, which was really nice too. Like the place had its own onsen.
What, in the place you're renting?
Yeah.
Oh.
No showers though.
Oh. What?
No showers, only onsen.
So you just get like super sweaty and greasy and like dunk into the onsen?
Yeah, and then they would have a bunch of like big bowls of water that you could toss over.
Oh yeah, you gotta like
to wash yourself.
Yeah, you gotta sit on the little tiny stool.
Yeah, true.
Like it's like your super tiny stool in front of a mirror next to like your three other dudes like naked pouring water on yourself. Yeah, that's a Japanese style shower.
Yeah.
I just thought you could get into the greasy, sweaty body into the onsen.
No, so the Peeping Tom Story, yeah, we were there in Japan. It was Paddy, myself, Tanner Rainville, and Ahmed Dadali. And we were at the cat skiing place, and we all had to take a piss. So we went to these little Dixies, and the guys went in left and right, and the middle stall was it looked open, like it was green when you.
Right.
So I opened it, and then there is this lady in there, cleaning herself in a very weird position. And I'm like, oh, sorry, but she did lock it, so I closed it, and then all these guys would call me Peeping Tom for the rest of the day.
Oh, they're calling you the Peeping Tom?
Yeah, but it turned out that in the evening at the restaurant, Patty was walking in to our photographer, Grant, being on the toilet, and from then on it was Peeping Patty, no more Peeping Tom. Yeah, yeah, I wasn't peeping. They were trying.
So just some lady in the bathroom that just walked in, and it was nice and honest mistake.
Yeah, honest mistake.
Except she was cleaning herself in a weird way.
Yeah, dude, I was.
Was she actually cleaning herself?
Definitely. But yeah, I was. Yeah, damn, I felt bad for that, but kind of like the lady's own fault in a way.
Was it like a unisex onsen bathroom?
It was just, what a Dixie toilet is?
Like Dixie toilet?
We call them Dixies.
Oh, like a porta potty?
Like a porta potty, exactly. Yeah. It was 3 of them, and it was open, and I opened the door, and sorry, she was in there being busy.
Well, that's good. So, now that you're here, what else other than like the skiing has been a highlight for you?
A highlight for me has been how friendly everyone was so far. Like, I got treated so well on this trip. I feel like everyone was super helpful, and yeah.
So the Canadians, do they live up to the stereotype? Oh, Canadians are so nice, man.
Yeah, they're really nice people. I can approve now.
Yeah,
they're really nice. So that's what I really liked, and yeah, just being out there filming is what I like the most. I like the whole process of getting up early and try to get some crazy stuff, and sometimes I even like not getting any shots, because it's such a big part of it,
Just to be out there.
Just to be out there, and it's always a learning experience. And
Patty was telling me that like he's like he's like the most core skier that I know. Like when it comes to just skiing and wanting to ski and then immersing himself in that, he's like, that's the guy. Yeah, just skiing is life. He also asked me to see if you'd be willing to do like a freeride world tour wild card.
Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'd be stoked on doing it, but I also have a lot of respect for the tour and all the riding that is going down, and it's not even close to as easy as it might look watching it.
Doesn't look easy. Not lately.
Yeah, especially lately. So I would have to prepare myself well for that one and maybe do it. But
maybe get a
we'll see.
Fieberbrunn wild card for next year.
I don't know. Maybe.
I wonder if Tanner was going to do a wild card for Kicking Horse this year, but
Yeah.
obviously he hurt himself.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So I wonder if he'd come back. Would you do like a wild card in the Wilsey Loader and Fieberbrunn?
Yeah.
Do you know any of the Austrian or German riders that are on the tour?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Vale or Max
Yeah,
Hitzig.
Max Hitzig.
I guess he's riding for
He's
Germany now,
insane.
though.
Yeah, but he's Austrian, I would say.
Yeah, he was telling me about that. Like he was born and raised in Austria,
Yeah,
but he
his-
doesn't have a passport because his parents were German
Yeah,
or
his
something.
dad is from Germany or something like that. But
So let me ask you this: if you're born in Austria, you're not automatically an Austrian?
I would think so that you would be, but maybe if your parents are German, then there's some other rule to it or anything. But I don't know anything about it, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
All I know is that with a German passport, you can get to Canada more easily. And
Yeah, you were
stay
saying
longer, man.
Then Austrian.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you said you had to get a visa to come over here,
yeah,
and like a 6-month travel visa. Like it's pretty easy to
I
get.
think-
You just have to register
yeah.
for
You
it.
just have to register for it, but it's like a 90-day visa or something.
That's it.
Yeah, and
Is it the same the other way around? I didn't realize. Maybe I should look into that.
maybe, probably not. No,
I wonder
I
why.
don't think so.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe you got more power.
Maybe the power of the Canadian passport. You know. Well, you're here for a couple more days. You said trying to get some more clips and footage and just go skiing, hang out with some friends, and experience some cool shit. And then you're going heli skiing for the first time.
Yes, exactly.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
But you're not really sure where all the footage is going to end up next fall.
No, not really. I mean,
The TGR
the
obviously
teacher
is
should be, yeah.
that
yeah,
one's
should-
pretty
should
simple.
be obvious.
Yeah.
But the other stuff we'll have to check where it's gonna go. Maybe a focal thing or maybe some blank stuff. I don't know. But we also got some shots from Japan because we went to Japan this year, which was really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling someone the other day this fall where it's gonna be like it's gonna be. I originally was like it's gonna be all Japan edits.
yeah, because it's finally back
Yeah,
open, right?
everybody's like gonna be rushing to Japan and then you finally get some Japan edits, but it's probably gonna be like Japan and then maybe some Tahoe stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked mad deep in the... Wow. Oof.
Like mega. I was talking to Andrew Pollard, and he's like, Alta's kind of boring now because all the features and everything is flat. All the cliffs,
buried.
all the airs, all the fun little jibs, and all the fun little features. It's just so much snow that it's just flat. I'm like,
That's
it's like a
insane,
blue
man.
run. The whole entire mountain's like a blue run now.
That's
It's
crazy.
just flat and consistent. It was super wild. I wanted to get down there for that. I couldn't imagine, but it didn't quite work out. But we've had a good last couple of weeks here.
Yeah, can't complain.
No one listens anyways.
Yeah.
He's got to pray to Ular moving forward. Well, dude, I'm so stoked that you came over, man. It's super nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
I was I haven't done an episode here in the studio for a couple like months, I think.
Oh, wow.
Usually the first half I'll do them, and then I've been on the road traveling around. I've done a few in Golden and a few in Europe. So I saw you were in town, and I just hit up ABM. I'm like, hey, ask him if he wants to do a podcast. And you're like, heck yeah. He came right away. So I'm stoked. Now I got a new friend and someone that hopefully I can show around next time you're here.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. Thank you.
That's one of the cool things about ABM too, and I've said it a few times, is he moved here, I guess last year or the year before, and early season, whenever there's a big POW day, he'd go up and wait in line at like 6:45, 6:30, because here in Worcester you kind of have to get up that early in order to get just ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
I'd always see him there.
Yeah, dude. ABM is on it. Big time. Like he's always trying to get shots, super motivated, and just such a nice guy to be around too. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah.
Big thanks to him for having me here in Whistler.
There's a lot of amazing people in this cool little culture community that we have.
True. That's true.
It never stops like amazing. I know it, but it still always amazes me. I'm like, wow, this person's so fucking cool. That's why I do this podcast, so I can meet people like you.
Nice.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks for having me.
That was my pleasure. And have a good time this week.
Thank you.
And we'll see what you can do, I guess, next fall.
Yes.
All right, take it easy, man.
Sir. You too. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video on the LPP YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And while you're here, you may as well watch this great LPP highlights video. Thanks.